Hi guys, I'm very glad to be here to be with my group members to introduce you with a really nice and knowledgeable book which named the Predictably Irrational. And in this book, Dan Ariely takes us into the realm of the behavioral economics and using a series of experimental studies to upend the once widely accepted assumption that our actions are perfectly rational, whether it's buying coffee, having a diet, buying a car, or falling in love. Everything seems to be, self-motivated, seems like really rational. But our decision-making behaviors are always irrational, and this book will tell us how and why. Okay, to begin with, I would like to share you with a really common example in our daily lives. And in our daily life, have you ever had such experience, like you plan to buy shoes A, but during the purchase process, you are attracted by the shoes B, and B also offers you with some free gift like this Pikachu, and which you don't need, but it do exist the free gift. It will give you some free offer, but the free issues would motivate you to buy the shoes B rather than A, and even you don't need it, but that will make a really great influence and impact on your decision. And the logic behind is not that simple, and it's what this book will present you with. Each decision would have its predictably irrational factors, and which have a really great influence on our daily lives. And we will dig deeper into this book. Okay, before digging into this book about its contents, let's now say some comments about this book. And as you can see, most of these comments are given by the Nobel Prize winners who are expertise in the economic domain. And you can see there are some similar keywords in their comments, like this book is charming, this book is an interesting book, and it will make us to be wiser, to be more intelligent, and this book will make you laugh. And the last one is given by the author himself, and he said that my goal by the end of this book is to help you fundamentally rethink what makes you and the people around you tick. I hope to lead you there by presenting a wide range of scientific experiments, findings, and anecdotes that are in many cases quite amusing. Once you see how systematic certain mistakes are, how we repeat them again and again, I think you will begin to learn how to avoid some of them. Okay, and from his words, we can tell that this book will tell something that are totally come from our daily lives. You know, maybe we'll experience them day by day, but we think the things will happen like that. It should be there. It should be that. But we have never found about its behind logic. So this book will help us to find out the most common things in our daily lives, but they do have some irrational issues. So are you interested by this book? Let's now begin to read about it and to dig more into this book. Okay, here are some central arguments which are presented in this book. Like packaging is important, marketing is always the most valuable business operation, and people often make choices after comparisons, and the herd effect is everywhere. Yes, the first impression is the most important factor for human to judge. Yes, and the free offers obviously mean to pay more. Really? And to manage the expectations of your customers rather than their experience. That makes sense to me. And people are willing to sacrifice the personal pleasure of themselves to highlight their impression in the eyes of others. I need to say I'm the person like this, but I don't know if everyone will act like this. And so you can see the central arguments are quite interesting. You can find and to compare with yourself. Are you the people like this, as he said? If not, you can read the book. If yes, you can also read this book to find why you act like this. Which are the predictably irrational issues that motivate you to do this. Okay, let's begin. And my friends will tell you about some detailed cases to analyze our predictably irrational factors.
Now let me introduce you a point made in Predictably Irrational: the truth about relativity. I believe that all of you have seen many visual misleading pictures like which bar is longer, which circle is bigger. For example, in this picture, the two black circles in the middle are exactly the same, but the color and all those little circles around make us believe that the right one is bigger. They mislead our perception. And the effect of the visual misleading also exists in our marketing world. So, in the first situation of television, people choose the product with middle price, but in the second situation, people choose the most expensive one. It seems like it's irrational, but predictable, however, because the reference is changed. There's a fundamental observation of them early. Most people don't know what they want unless they see it in context. We don't know what kind of racing bike we want until we see a champ in the Tour de France ratcheting the gears on a particular model. We don't know what kind of basketball shoes we want until we see the most famous player wear it and perform great in the game. And we don't even know what we want to do with our lives unless we see a friend who is doing just what we think we should be doing. So everything is relative, and people rarely know the true value of products, the true value of what we want. This theory about relativity is now still applied in many industries, especially in smart devices and electronic product industry, because the knowledge barrier of this industry is relatively higher than others. But now this marketing method is not as good as it used to be. Because first, consumer can obtain information through various channels. Access to information is now very easy. If we want something, there's basically everything you need in internet. And second, product lines are enriched. In this age of no privacy, producers also know better what do we consumer need because all users' data are exposed. So they can manufacture various product lines in order to match different clients with different need, different belief, and different region. Third, the change of distribution channel. The business of offline retail distribution is now being occupied by online, and consumers have much more wider choice online.
Now let's get into the problem of procrastination and self-control. Let's see a case first. What do we learn from the case? First of all, be given an external supervision or self-pre-commitments can help us reaching our goals. For the three classes of students given different deadlines or no deadline at all, students were given strict deadline and students chose the deadline for themselves got better grades than students with no deadline. And secondly, people may set deadlines for themselves, but not necessarily the deadlines that are best for getting the best performance. In our case, in the author's opinion, that's because not everyone understands their tendency to procrastinate. And even those who do recognize their tendency to procrastinate may not understand their problem completely. That's why students perform the best under a very strict deadline given by the professor. But there's also some limitation to this argument. Like external supervision might not always be desirable. In daily life, we might resist to external voice that gives orders and tell us what to do. In this case, self-pre-commitment will be a good substitute. Secondly, pre-commitment may cause some limitation for the project and restrict some creativity. When we set a deadline on ourselves, we set limits to the time of thinking and continuously building on our thoughts because we feel under pressure when working. And instead of being creative, we focus more on just getting things done before the timeline. To balance between the two, we can set a deadline a bit longer than the time we actually need.